How will the 2019-2020 Premier League football season end? We don't know when it will start back up or even if, and Liverpool fans be like, hey! So what if we did a simulation of all the remaining games and ended up with a table to see who wins, but also who gets relegated? Let's do just that. Okay, so the league halted at the end of the 29th round with two outstanding games, Aston Villa versus Sheffield United and Manchester City versus Arsenal. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna simulate the result of each remaining game using the results of the three previous encounters between each respective team. And this will be based on league games only, not friendlies, not cup, and some of these games will be in the championship because teams move up and down through relegation. And the setup is that if one team has 2 wins over the other team, then they win the simulated game. And then we take into account the number of goals scored to get somewhat of a result based on that. If there's a win, a draw, and a loss, it will be a draw. If there are 2 draws, it will be a draw. So 2 wins is a win, 2 draws is a draw, well, 2 losses is a loss. Now mind you that we're not taking into account certain upsets, like games that were unexpected. For example, who could have guessed that Watford would beat Liverpool by 3-0 at the end of February this year? So we're not going to do that. So for example, in the game Aston Villa versus Sheffield United, the 3 previous scores were 2-0, 3-3 and 4-1. So the simulated result of the game that has not yet been played will be a 3-1 victory for Aston Villa. The other game that was outstanding was Manchester City versus Arsenal, and in the previous 3 encounters, Manchester City won all of them, and the calculated result for the outstanding game of the 29th round will be 3-1 for Manchester City. So this is the table as it stood before the league was halted. If we add in the 2 simulated games into this, we see that Manchester City gets a stronger hold on their second position, but Aston Villa jumps from 19th to 16th position in the bottom of the table. And if you want to study the table as I'm going, just pause the video. So let's go to the next round and simulate all the results of round 30. We see that Crystal Palace moves up 3 spots and Liverpool gets closer and closer to securing that title. In round 31 we have many draws, but more importantly, Liverpool has a 22-point lead with 7 games to go, which means that Manchester City will be unable to catch up, so Liverpool are champions. Tottenham passes both Sheffield United and Crystal Palace, and Watford passes West Ham for that important 17th secure position. In round 32, Liverpool experience only their 3rd point loss in a game when they draw against Manchester City. Manchester United pass Chelsea, and Norwich gets an important point from Arsenal with the chance of hopefully getting out of the bottom 3. In round 33, Arsenal draws for the 3rd time in a row, which is hurting their chances of qualifying for Europe. Crystal Palace pass Tottenham, and West Ham has a big victory over Newcastle. And Watford is now on safe ground, if only by 6 goals ahead of Aston Villa. In round 34, Watford has an important win over Norwich, and Tottenham takes back that 7th position from Palace. And in round 35, Palace is back again. In round 36, West Ham has an important victory over Watford, which moves them 2 points ahead. Chelsea passed Manchester United, who only had 1-1 against Crystal Palace, and Tottenham once again passed Palace, and Norwich is now very close to relegation. In the second last round, Norwich loses to Burnley, and they will then play the Championship, the second league, the coming year. Wolves play 1-1 against Crystal Palace, which creates a gap where Palace cannot pass Wolves with 1 round to go. Despite Watford's big loss to Manchester City, they will maintain a 4-point gap down to Aston Villa and Bournemouth. Both of those teams are relegated to the Championship. Tottenham beats Leicester and thereby pretty much secures a top 7 position ahead of the last round. And in the final round, Manchester United manages to clinch that 4th position by winning their game as Chelsea draws their game, and it's a 2-goal difference between those two. And as already mentioned, Liverpool FC are champions of 2019-2020 season. So what do you think? Will this be a viable way of looking at the end of this season once it gets started and once the games start playing? Do you think some teams will have upsets and maybe some teams will not be relegated? Some teams will be relegated? And do you think that there will be a shift aside from the one that you had in this simulation when it comes to the top 5 slots? Let me know what you think. I mean, Corona is happening, so why not just do maddening statistics by hand while you're at it? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.